Hey, what's up, expats? This is Josh. I'm here with my business partner, James, and we're going to talk about investments. What's up, James?
Not much.
Can you kind of give our viewers a little background about yourself?
I've been working overseas for the last 9 years, and I've been thinking about ways of how to invest money and how to generate passive income. And so that's when I met Josh, and we're trying to do that through our real estate investments and other things we have going on.
Yes, this is episode 1 of our vlog series. We're going to be taking you guys on this journey that we've been going down. This isn't legal advice, investment advice. This is about our journey and what we're doing. And so hopefully you guys can learn from our mistakes, and if you see some of our successes, you can duplicate it. No advice, right?
No, none. Yeah, glean from what you can, but that's it.
Yeah, to give you guys a bit of background, I went to school at a small liberal arts school on the border of Virginia and Tennessee where I grew up. I got an MBA from that school, and I've written over a dozen business plans for various types of businesses in different industries, and I really got involved in business over the past few years in terms of business investment. And there are 3 investments that I personally do on an active level, and then one that I do always, and that's investing in index funds.
My background's a little bit different. From college until when I got into my first job, really wasn't really actively investing, was more so saving money in the savings account. That was more of my thing. I did have a lot of college buddies who were really big on investing in stocks, so I got involved with that, but more passive. Not really investing much. I put in a couple $100 and it's just let it sit there for a while, not really looking at it. My 2 things are currently real estate investment as well, and also stocks, but those are 2 I'm a little bit more active now.
This guy's excellent at stocks. I mean, I know he's talking things down right now, but he's excellent at stocks. He has spoken a lot of wisdom to me, and just seeing what his portfolio looks like and some of the things that he's invested in. Granted, it's not been big money.
No.
If you had big money, you would have invested it, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think so. If I had more money, I would put more in, but
he would be winning, guys.
Well, anyone would have won last year. In 2018, 2017, no one could have lost. You put your money in anything, but stocks are being hammered right now, so got to be careful.
Listen, guys, here's how humble he is. You know, at the place that we work, our colleagues, we were talking about what we've done in terms of, you know, how much gain we've seen, and it might be on average between 7 and 10 points. And what did you do last year?
Last year I had about 24%.
Yeah.
But again, it's small dollars, right? It's not a lot of money, so 24% doesn't, in terms of dollar amount, it's not that much.
So the 3 investment things that we want to talk about over the next couple of episodes. 1 is how we got involved in real estate. 2, how we got involved into coffee. And 3, robo-investing.
Yeah. We've
tested out robo-investing. We've had similar results with 2 different products, and we'll kind of talk about those.
Yeah, Josh and I have been in the office just talking about these different ideas, and we've just been brainstorming, but also just learning through this trying and learning through experimentation. And I like to say that we've made some mistakes.
Definitely.
And we want to discuss those things on this episode.
Yep. So our journey starts with coffee, actually. And we're not talking about coffee that we sip on. I mean, it is coffee that we sip on, but we're talking about coffee as a commodity.
Yeah. Apparently, it's the number 2 most traded commodity in the world, right behind oil.
Oil. Yeah.
So I thought when we heard about that and an opportunity came up, we thought we should try to get into this or learn about it.
Yeah, so speaking of oil, I actually met a guy in Saudi Arabia, an American guy in Saudi Arabia, and he was really into coffee. So this guy and I worked together, and he was sharing kind of his business ideas and some of his vision of what he wanted to do in the future. And I saw that aligning with my investment strategies and my goals. I'm really into small and medium enterprises, and I like to support that type of thing. So, whenever he had an opportunity to open up a trading house, an import-export business in Istanbul, Turkey, I took a look at the financials, weighed it up, and thought it was a good idea. In that process, I was speaking to James about it in the office.
Yeah, Josh introduced the idea to me right when I was just experimenting with what was that? It was like a crowdsource website for small medium enterprises. So
Yeah.
I was also interested in supporting small medium enterprises with my money and hopefully to get some small return on that. And that's when Josh dropped this idea about coffee.
Yeah, so the returns, looked quite good.
Yeah, the projections were the first year or first 6 months, it was
Mm.
projected at
I think-
16%
yeah.
returns. And I thought, man, that's in 6 months, that's a great opportunity. Yes, there were a lot of risks because it's a startup, and we didn't know much about coffee and any of the supply chain or any of that at that time. But it was a risk for us to kind of jump in.
Yeah, and we thought 16 times 2, 32. Where are we gonna get 32% back on our money?
Yeah, it was hard because even in the market, I felt like I was doing some work in stocks just to get 24%, but just to sit there and get 16, how could I pass? And so we definitely had to look into what were the risks involved in this project.
So anytime you start to talk about investing in a small business and you're talking to other people about it, you're gonna get naysayers. And we experienced that. I would say out of every 10 people I spoke to, one would be like, oh, that's a really good idea. The other 9 would be like, you're throwing your money away.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely because each share that our owner was trying to sell to us, because to raise money, wasn't cheap. It was
5,000
US per share,
Mm.
and he wanted you to commit that money. And he did say in his contract that you could lose everything from it, and so there was definitely a risk. So yeah, we had people saying you shouldn't do that. You know nothing about coffee. But I think that provided a great opportunity for us to learn about coffee, because then we put money into the game. It kept us accountable and made us learn a lot about coffee that year.
Yeah, I would say one of the things with investments, especially when you're investing in a small or medium enterprise, is don't spend more money or don't risk more money than you can lose. Which, we could have lost $5,000 and it would have been okay.
Yeah, and definitely you got to look at your own portfolio. That 5,000 for me wasn't a huge chunk in my overall portfolio, so I was trying to diversify, but I saw that if I lost it, it wouldn't have hit me or my family that hard.
So to take you guys through the process of how we got involved and then what the paperwork and everything was like, let us break that down for you. First, there were contracts that were drafted among all of the people that were interested in investing. Our owner was able to raise up, actually, I think more than he needed, maybe by about $5,000. But we all came in at equal amounts per share, so $5,000 per share. He was looking for 50K, and I believe he got 55.
Yeah.
Right? So he drafted up the agreements, and then that's when a lot of paperwork had to happen on our side. Since we live in Singapore and we had to get things notarized from the US and with the Turkish embassy and all this, there was a little bit of back and forth.
The way that we got into this investment, when Josh presented this investment to me, my story is that I saw the number 16% and I saw what he was trying to do. I knew that coffee was the number 2 commodity in the world, but for me that wasn't enough for me to decide I'm going to take on this project for myself. I'm going to start investing in this vehicle here. What really pushed me over the top was when I started digging in and learning about our owner, our CEO, our founder. That his story compelled me to say, you know what, I can put my money with this guy, and I'm willing to risk it.
Yeah.
So as I talked to Josh about it, this is a person that Josh, you knew in person. You met him when you were in the Middle East working there, and to him, what would you say, like when you thought of his name, what did you think about?
Trustworthy, honest, hardworking, extremely hardworking actually. He was hyper-focused when we were in Saudi. Yes, he did his job, but he also had this side project that was almost a thing that allowed him to live 2 lives. I mean, he was not 2 lives in a bad way, but he was like able to do his job really well, but then also able to switch focuses in his downtime and be completely immersed in the coffee, because that's the direction his life was headed. That's what he knew he wanted to do. And I could just see that. I mean, I don't think it's necessarily a good advice to tell someone, to go based on their gut feeling. But yeah, I mean, when you're investing in small and medium enterprises, you definitely have to gauge the person more than just the numbers. Because the numbers can look great, but if the person's the wrong person running the business, then the business isn't going anywhere.
Yeah, because at that point, small medium enterprise, that person is the entire
They're the
company.
business, yeah.
Yeah, and so when I heard about this fellow from Josh, just hearing about his story, I can tell. Would you say he's passionate? He was passionate about coffee.
Super passionate,
Right.
Extremely knowledgeable, and those two things together are a really good combination.
And I just thought that this guy does not want to fail.
Mm-mm.
This is his passion, and if he doesn't want to fail, obviously, if we're investing our money with him, he's gonna do his best to not fail us.
Mhm.
And that's what really pushed me over the top. He did send his resume. He sent his, like, he told us about his job experience and all that, and that was good. But really, just getting to know the person, the founder, in that sense, just learning about him and building that relationship with him before I even invested any money, that's what really kind of pushed me over the top, thinking that, okay, this is something I can do and I'm willing to do and risk my money for.
Yeah. This is the start of 2019, and these conversations happened in April 2017. So the company is coming up on being 2 years old, and we've seen some returns along the way. But before we jump into that, let's talk about how easy it was actually to get going on this.
Yeah.
So in April 2017 is when the conversation started happening, and financial projections were sent to us, and they were projections, right? The business had no concrete numbers to give us. There were pre-contracts for coffee that could be imported, but there was nothing solid. We didn't have a whole lot to go off of. However, the process of getting invested was really quite easy. It was pretty much simply signing some paperwork and sending the money over. And that was nerve-wracking.
Yeah. The only hard part about that was that we're living overseas, sending money from a foreign bank account already, and perhaps maybe transferring that back to US, and then try and send that over to our country where our business was located. And just doing that process. I mean, as long as you follow the steps, it was fairly simple. But a mistake could have meant that your money ended up somewhere that you had no idea about. But essentially, we were wiring money overseas, and you pay a small fee, or you pay a fee for that, right? So,
Yeah, I think the fee for me was $35 US.
yeah, it's around the same, depending on what bank you bank with. I had money sent from Singapore. You had money sent from
US.
So depending on where you're at, the fees will be slightly different.
We became owners of a SME out of Istanbul, and it was great. It was really great.
Yeah, it's been that process of sending money and starting up and getting our names on something was fairly easy. Mainly because this person who started the company had a business model already, a business plan, and he already presents his different phases of fundraising that he would need, very professionally done. I don't know how many SMEs or startups you'll find that would have such a professional outline before, a professional business plan before, raising funds. But that was one of the key components, that this guy is organized, and he was ready to start up his business.
Yeah, highly organized. What we could tell, the numbers were reasonable. He was being very generous in terms of the returns that he was going to give to the ownership. And I think that made sense. I think it made business sense for him because he needed the capital to get started, and he knew that he could get this going. And then we saw the growth projections. And we're in the midst of that right now. We're in the midst of some serious growth. One of the cool things that we were able to do, because James was able to jump online and jump on a deal really quickly, is we went from having 1 share to 1.5 shares because we were offered a quick sale.
So a quick sale was, there was a shipment of coffee that needed to be imported into the country of origin where our company is at, and he didn't actually have the cash at that moment, and he needed a shareholder to provide that cash. He sent the email out, I don't know, in Singapore time it was near midnight. I happened to be up, and so I saw that, and he was guaranteeing a certain ROI by a certain time, return on investment within 3 months, I think it was.
Yeah.
And so I surely thought one of the 10 investors are going to jump on this. But I just emailed saying, hey, I'm interested, it's still available, and it happened to be available. And so I was able to put in another 5K, or about 2.5K, because I split it with Josh. And we were able to get that, and we already received the ROI back for that already. And that was added onto our original shares. So that's how that happened. But just being in the right place, or not even being in the right place, just checking my email, really, is what it was. Checking my email and just being aware of the situation. I didn't feel like I needed to be in a rush to do it, but definitely an opportunity presented itself. I had the cash lying around. And at that point, 4 months, this SME has already built enough trust, at least I've trusted it enough for me to throw in another 2.5K without even having to think too much about it. Because in those 4 months, I mean, seeing the paperwork for that showed us that this company was going to grow at a rapid rate. So I thought, hey, it's no risk here. I mean, there was risk, but it was calculated, and I thought it was doable.
Yeah, I'm really grateful that James split it with me, because he could have just gone ahead and funded the whole deal himself with his 5K, but he split it with me, and I really appreciate that. In terms of paperwork, though, it was kept in his name to keep it simple, and then we had an agreement where we would split it. Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, I couldn't have gotten into the coffee business without you, so. And again, it's networking and getting to know those people. And if I didn't know Josh, I don't think I would have ever invested in coffee. I don't really drink coffee that much myself.
Yeah, me either until now.
I'm starting, now.
It's bad.
Yeah.
If you guys have been on the Instagram, the company Instagram, you've probably seen some of my photos in various specialty coffee shops taking coffee pics.
Oh man.
How about you?
Are we becoming snobs? I think we're becoming
It's
snobs.
bad. It's so bad. We actually took a course just 2 weeks ago on an introduction to specialty coffee through SCA, which is basically the source for specialty coffee training.
Yeah, the Specialty Coffee Association. I think it's from the UK originally.
Is it?
It's worldwide, actually, but these people who have certificates or diplomas from there are pretty legitimate.
Yeah, they're specialists in the field.
Yeah, for sure. So far, there have been 2 highs for me. The first one is about education. I've been learning so much about the coffee industry, and that's been really interesting for me. The second point is meeting coffee people. And for me to build this relationship with new people in this way has been great so far. I think my low was waiting. The waiting. Yeah. There's not many lows because it's low maintenance. This investment,
Passive.
we're basically passive. We're not doing much, and that's what we're ultimately looking for, passive ways to invest. Someone else is doing the work for us, and we're getting the returns on the investment. But waiting for that return, just getting excited about the numbers and the projections and seeing how much we might get back, that's probably the low portion for me. But really, there weren't that many lows for me.
Yeah, I would agree. My high, I think my high was just the excitement around that Brazilian coffee deal when that share became available, and then I tried to jump on it, and then I realized I was too late. I got an email back from the owner saying someone has already jumped on this deal. And then I was discussing it with James, and James was like, yeah, that was me. Do you want to go halvesies? And I was like, oh, that's nice, man. Yeah, definitely I want to go halvesies. So that was really cool. I really appreciated that. And that was probably my high. I'm pretty big into relationships when it comes to this stuff. I'm not going to do anything foolish when it comes to money because of relationships.
Yeah.
But I do like that aspect. I think if you are doing so much to help other people reach their goals, then it's going to come back to you. People are going to want to see you doing well as well when you're helping them. So that was my high. My low, it's probably the waiting game as well. I know maybe I should be like contrasting you right now, but I mean, if I'm just being honest, we've gotten so invested in terms of our interest into specialty coffee and also into the business and knowing the numbers, and then just having to wait for the report, at the end of each month or on into the next month, having to wait for that report to see how are we doing, how are the guys in Istanbul doing, driving sales and meeting goals. Just waiting.
Yeah, I guess I can add on to that. As we learn more about coffee, as we learn more about the business, we come from backgrounds where Josh being a business guy and me interested in solving problems in business, we want to do things, but
Yeah.
we have no say, or we have no power to make this change. And so we were here in our office just brainstorming, but yet we can't do much about it. So that there is a load to that. It's exciting to talk about, but there's not much we can do with this passive kind of investment.
All right, guys, so that wraps up this episode. If you have any comments or questions, please put those in the comment section below. Any of your questions, we will respond to.
Yeah.
We're committed to doing that. If you have a comment, we may or may not respond to it. But if you have a question, a legitimate question about investments or just what we've done, let us know. We will answer those. We'll be really blunt.
We'll be quite honest, because we're learning as you guys are learning as well.
Yeah, we want to take you guys along with us, and this one's really, really new. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.